Today I want to talk a little bit about basic social stuff. This is advice from me from my own experience about socializing with people and things that are not really talked about a lot. I see a lot about dating, I see a lot about games and playful stuff, but I don't see so much about the things I'm gonna say in this video. So stick around in this video. I think you will learn something new that will be valuable to your life. So when you're socializing, of course the environment matters. If you're socializing on the street, you could be a drug dealer, you could be a crackhead, you could be anyone, right? But if you're socializing in a high environment, for example, an expensive hotel or a restaurant, you're probably going to be received a lot better from the start because it filters out all of these more dangerous or people that you don't want to be bothered by people, right? You would like to socialize in that kind of environment because maybe for networking or for just getting to learn something from someone, as compared to the street. You don't always want to talk to people. Maybe it's a salesperson, right? You don't want to hear a whole sales speech. And I think that understanding the environment and being aware of the environment where you're socializing in should also determine how you interact with people. When it's on the street, it's probably the most difficult environment in the sense that there's a lot of weird stuff going on. Even in a club, there are a lot of weird stuff going on, right? Because people are drinking and they can get aggressive, they can be drunk and dangerous. There are bar fights, there are fights in clubs. Of course, these people, they will mostly be turned away from or banned from the club or from the bar, but still these things happen. So people are always a little careful when they're making conversations in those kind of environments. So you got to understand that people might, be a bit standoffish from you, or not sure if you're a creep, or just because of out of self-defense, they just want to just have nothing to do with you, just to make sure that they're safe. And it's just a protection mechanism. It could also be that some people are actually having had these conversations and have had traumas from these things, so that every time something that looks even a little bit like that dangerous person or whatever, that they turn that away. So you got to be very aware with how you're coming across in different environments. So one thing that you got to understand is what, for example, a crackhead or a drug dealer or a salesperson or any person that basically is there trying to take, right? Because they're trying to take something from you. Even a guy that goes to a girl that's just trying to get sex or something from her is still this kind of like taker energy. It's this kind of, I'm not being fallible to people, I'm just trying to take. That's not a way you want to go into any interaction. First of all, going in such an interaction is very desperate, very needy, and it comes across like you're trying to get something, and you're trying to get something most of the time in those cases. So a better way to socialize, even if it's to get a sale. Let's say you want to talk to someone and you want to sell them something. Even then, it still would be better to go into the conversation without this type of agenda, with just no outcome attached to it. Meaning you make conversation without trying to go anywhere. Basically, you're like a radio sender. When you put on the radio, some guy is talking and saying the next song is going to be this. There's no real, like, he's not asking you questions. He's not playing games. He's just bringing value. And I think that is the best way to come off, because that is truly what abundance is as well. Like, if you're truly abundant and you have so many friends, or you have so many relationships, or you have so many options, you're not going to be, you're not going to really care about a conversation leading anywhere. You don't care about the conversation leading anywhere. The only place you care about a conversation leading anywhere is when you're in scarcity, when you don't have enough. And that's why people that are in abundance, they get more abundant, and people in scarcity, they get less and less and less. It's like a cycle. Sometimes you might even notice, let's say you go to a club or a bar, that you just get rejected over and over and over again, because you're in this cycle of rejection, and you cannot stop it. You just got to really take a break, stop, I don't know, go smoke, or go drink, or go, not drink alcohol, but just go drink some water or something, and just take a moment, just take a break, and then move forward. And also don't take it so seriously, right? Like, the biggest thing about rejection is kind of a filtering process. Who vibes with you? But sometimes you also got to be aware of your own energy not being really a vibe. You get what I'm saying? Like, if you're in a vibe, like you're having a good time, you're having fun, and then other people vibe with you, that's good. But let's say you're not in a vibe, and then you're trying to socialize. It's better to just don't socialize at all, because you're gonna get rejected. You're gonna get in a rejection cycle, and unless you want to do some, what they call, rejection therapy, I don't think it's of any use to go out there and talk to people. Sometimes you're just not in the mood. You're just not in the social mood, so to say. So that's very important to understand. It's like, it's a filter. It's like, it's hard when you stop, it's hard when you just, like, you get rejected, and you stop. But if it's like, you get rejected, and then you don't, then it's like, okay, well, 2 rejections, 1 person I kind of fight with. That's good, you see? And then rejection is just like the warm up for the real conversation. So I think you got to be a little bit more tough, in the sense that you're gonna be rejected, but don't let that influence your actions so much. Surely take a break, surely take a pause, but then go on and try to find something funny about it, or something amusing, and don't take it so personal. A lot of these reasons are also not personal why they're rejecting you. Like, maybe your energy was off for a moment. Does that mean there's something off with you? No, like, it was just your energy was off, and that happens sometimes. Like, sometimes you're just not in the energy. Like, do you think when some disaster happens in your life, you're gonna be really good at socializing? No, you're sad, you're not in the mood. So don't make any of these conversations mean anything. That's also very important, to not blame too much on yourself. Like, you could blame your own energy, in the sense of like, okay, I got to change my energy a bit if I want to make this work. Surely that could be done, but that has nothing to do with how you look, or how you how you are, or that you as a person are just repulsive or people don't want to be with you. That's definitely not what you should internalize, because that would be a big huge issue, right? Rejection is not an issue because it's just going to happen for everyone. You're going to get rejected, and people that say, oh, I never get rejected, they don't socialize enough. Okay, you're going to get rejected at some point. So you're going to get rejected, and then if there's one person says, like, who are you, where are you from, blah blah blah, you have a conversation. That's great, right? Why care about all the times that you get rejected, when if you know once in 3 or once in 4 times that you approach, you're not going to get rejected. That is what I would say for the people struggling with rejection, because I can understand that it can really feel like a personal attack, because somewhere you might have a belief system of like, people don't like me, or I'm not good enough, or people don't want to be talking to me, or whatever. You could have any of these things, probably from traumas that have happened in your youth or later on in life. But most of the time that's literally not the case. It's literally just like, okay, you got to change your energy a little bit. And the best energy is an energy of adrenaline. So adrenaline is the least boring emotion. It's active. If you have stress, if you know people around you that are very stressful, it can be kind of exhausting. You kind of get exhausted by these people, or it can make you depressed to be around people that are stressed the whole time, because you become stressed as well. And of course, with stress comes depression. So stress is too much adrenaline in a sense. It's too much on your plate that you can handle. When you're in adrenaline, you're actually very much in control, but you're not so much in your mind. When you're running, you get out of your mind and into your body. And that's really where you want to be at. You want to be out of your mind. Sometimes you're in adrenaline and you cannot even think really straight. Like you might be a little bit chaotic. I notice sometimes a little bit chaotic when I'm in adrenaline. I might not know exactly to say things very logically like I do when I'm not in adrenaline, right? When I'm not in adrenaline, I'm just, chilling, relaxing. I'm very sharp, right? So if we're thinking sharply, you don't need adrenaline. But when you're socializing, adrenaline will be very helpful. And there are many different ways to get into a state of adrenaline. Like even running for like a minute or so, running for a minute already sets you into adrenaline. Doing a workout makes you go into adrenaline. All these ways are to get you into adrenaline. So and also yelling. If you really yell really loudly, you probably also will feel adrenaline. So there's many different ways to get into a state of adrenaline, and will really help you a lot when socializing, because it's expressive, it's active, it's entertaining. The energy of stress is stressing other people out, and people already have enough stress in their lives, so they probably don't want to interact with you when you're stressed. The being relaxed, I mean, it can work sometimes when you're chill, relaxed, that's fine, but also you can be too chill and you can be too relaxed where people are not really interested in, it's kind of boring, right? They're bored, or they're not interested in seeing what's happening next because you're just boring. And everyone is boring, okay? So it's not like some people are just not boring and you are boring. No, it's just like, it's an energy change. When you're in adrenaline, you're not boring. It's hard to be boring when you're in a state of adrenaline. You're very entertaining because you're out of your head. You're just saying what comes to mind. You're not overly logic. You're just in the moment. You could say present, but present could also go towards more chill vibe, what is more relaxed and not so much in the state of adrenaline. Adrenaline is really where it's at. Doesn't mean you have to be in constant state of adrenaline, but just having a few moments before socializing where you spike the energy of adrenaline will help you immensely with socializing. That's what I noticed, and maybe it's different for you, right? This is just how it is for me. It might be different for you. So how do we approach people when you're on the street, or when you're in a club, when you're in a restaurant? In a restaurant, you're gonna have people that really easily approach you, right? Or you can really easily approach them, unless they're like busy or they have like some private thing going on. Besides that, you're in a good restaurant, the dinner is expensive, they're not thinking you're gonna be some person that's gonna annoy them. And that is also for high-end places. Or even like, let's say you do a class in making a clay sculpture. There's not going to be a drug dealer or a salesperson or whatever person that's just there to take. You're not going to get any of that type of person in a clay class. So it's much easier to socialize in such a place because it's like nobody's going to expect something bad happening, unless they're really, really traumatized. But most people, they will be quite open to socialize and talk, and it will not be, you don't have to deal with people's guard being up. On the street, you will have to learn to create a way to make sure that you're not that type of person that's gonna sell them something, or that's gonna trying to get something, or that's just not really how do you say, is going to disturb them in any type of way. Best thing to do is, when you're socializing outside, is to make your clothes a little bit more fresh looking. Like, have clothes that are maybe new. New shoes are very much good for in this case. If you have new shoes, if you just look good, it doesn't have to be stylish or whatever, just look decent, have new shoes, people are going to be a lot more approachable. And they're going to feel a lot more comfortable around you because, first of all, you're no longer a crackhead, you're no longer probably a drug dealer. You're not some homeless person asking for money. So all of those things are now off the list. So you're not, in that sense, one of those. But then you could still be a salesperson, or you could still be, I don't know, someone that's gonna talk about Christ, or, you know, whatever type of people approach you on the street. So now you got to make sure that they feel some form of comfort. And I would say the best way to do this is with a little bit of banter. Banter means that you say something funny, and it's a little bit being a bit of a jerk, in the sense that you call them out on something. Like in Amsterdam, I'm from Amsterdam. In Amsterdam, there's a lot of people that are smoking joints. So sometimes I see someone standing still and I say something like, I see what you're doing there. You're rolling a joint, aren't you? Like, I say something about that. So like an observational opener, in a sense. The reason this works so well is because it shows like you're not trying to get anything from them. You're just making a conversation. And I've actually encouraged people to just make real conversation. Don't try to get anything from people. Like, what are you trying to get? We're just socializing. We're not trying to get anything. If something ends up in a good place where you feel like you want to sell them something, or you want to do something else with them, whatever, that will come organically. Don't come off with the start with trying to do all of this. From the start, you're just socializing, because also not every conversation needs to lead anywhere. So it's best to socialize with everyone, because you're learning that just being in a social state is just a fun thing to do. First of all, it improves your social skills, and also it helps you to open a lot easier people. The idea that you, for example, a guy goes to a club and he wants to talk to girls. I'm like, why are you only talking to girls? Why are you not talking to some guys? Why are you not talking to everyone around there? Because it's like you're trying to be some kind of like, you come across like a predator trying to look for something to hunt at. And it's just creepy. It's just creepy. Like, why not just socialize? And if there happens to be a connection, great, it can lead somewhere. Why does it need to lead somewhere from the very start? If you're a high value person, you want to filter people as well. Like during the conversation, you want to see like, are they the right fit for me? Or are they the right fit for this product? Or are they even compatible with me? Like, why are you trying to get something right up from the start? It also shows low standards for yourself. And this is not about game. This is about basic socializing. That's why I don't say pick up, I don't say game, I don't say any of these things. All I say in this video is socializing, because that's actually what you should learn. You should learn how to socialize. You shouldn't learn all these gamey things, because it can come off very salesy. It can come off very repulsive for many people. So then what I would say is, what is abundance? When I talk to someone and I need them to stand there, I need them to, be there, it's kind of like I'm in lag. It means I don't have enough people to talk to or whatever. So the best idea is you're just talking, you're acknowledging them sometimes, but you're also just like, you're talking to other people as well. You're not just focused on them. You're not just focused on that person or that person. You're socializing with everyone. So you're just giving a very surface level version of yourself to everyone a little bit, and for the people that you feel you resonate with, they get a little deeper level of you. But it's not like you're trying to focus, and as some guys, they just go for girls and they're like a predator. They go like ace on one girl, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, why are you not just socializing with everyone and being social with everyone? And then if something happens to be where you feel there's a fight between you two, then you can see if anything more comes from it. But that should be later on. And all of this is kind of like common knowledge, but I see it not being really common. Even though it's all common knowledge, what I'm talking about, is not really common. I don't see it done a lot. I see a lot of times people they're trying to make you stay, or they're trying to make you like rush through the conversation to get something or to not lose your attention. And it doesn't mean that you have to be completely chill and let them just wander off. That's also not good. Like, of course, when someone is walking, you can say something like, "Oh, let's stand still for a second," or, you know, "Let's stand still for a moment," when you're talking on the street. Or you can give them something, like give them, like I'm a magician, so for me it's really different than from others. So sometimes I throw a coin to a person and then ask them to come closer and then make it disappear. And that's the reason why it's so good is because, first of all, I'm standing my ground. I'm not moving towards them. I'm actually looking for people that are standing still, and I'm throwing something at them. Also, I'm projecting my voice to those people. And you might think that being loud is kind of weird, of like, oh, you're being loud. It's like, but actually being loud shows the opposite of weird or creepy. Weird or creepy is when you're like, "Hi, how are you? Are you good? Hi," and nobody hears you. You're just like, nobody knows who you are. But when you're loud, it's actually very impersonal, because everyone around you, not just that one person, but everyone around you can hear you. So even when they would reject you, for example, it will be public, and people are like, "Oh no, I'm gonna be publicly rejected." Who cares? Like, who cares? Okay? The idea is that by projecting your voice, you're actually creating this safety for people. By projecting your voice, it's safer. Now, not yelling, because when you're yelling, you sound like a terrorist, okay? When you're speaking normally, you have an indoor voice. But when you're outdoors, you need an outdoors voice, so you need to project. Even when someone is standing quite close, you can project your voice a little bit. Be a little bit louder when you're talking. You don't have to yell, but you just have to be a bit louder when you're talking outside. Because there's a lot of noise from cars, from things around. And this is actually very good, because you throw a coin, you ask them to come close, you do a little magic trick, and now you're bringing value. You're already being a value person. The person is coming to you instead of you coming to them. What more is attraction? Attraction is you standing here and someone coming to you instead of you coming to them. So I never really come to people. I always make people come to me. Another thing is that you might just happen to be there. This is a really good thing to do, is actually when you talk to a group, just talk and open one person, but then go and be like, "Oh, you're there as well." Like, "Oh, hi, my name is whatever." You basically open that first person that might be a little bit like needy or whatever, but then like you happen to stand still there, and the other people stand still there as well. So now it's like we somehow opened, how do you say that? We somehow got into the same place. So why not talk, right? When you're doing a pottery class, you're in the same place. So it's logical for you to talk with each other. When you're opening a group, and you're opening one person, and then the rest of the group is there as well, then it's like, "Oh, you guys happen to be here as well." And it's very non-needy. It's very much just, it happens to be that they are there and I'm here. So why not have fun with it? And that's also how you should feel. Like, you shouldn't feel like you're running after people or whatever. You should feel like you're just happen to be in a social situation, so you're socializing. If you go to the doctor or something, you happen to be in a position where you're socializing because you need to talk to the doctor and tell them what to do, whatever. It's not super social, it's just a little bit of conversation. And it's not really weird because it's like, that's just what you do in a doctor, right? With a doctor. But when you're on the street, when you go up to a person, it kind of feels like, what do you want, right? If I go up to a person, it's like, what do you want from me, you know? And they might give you the benefit of the doubt, but that's not really what you want. You don't want the benefit of the doubt. You want them to be interested in you. You want them to be like, oh, whoa, where did you come from? Like, all of a sudden, we are in a conversation. That's fun, right? It's not so fun when when you open someone. So the person that you open is not so fun unless you might be both standing still, let's say in front of a red light when you're walking, right? When you're walking in the street and it's a red light and all people are standing still, it's more natural to maybe make a conversation or say something. But when you're like approaching people that are walking, I would only do that if it's like a group. So let's say you have a group, you would approach one person, the rest of the group stops, and then you approach the others and focus on the others, because that feels more natural. Because the person that you opened, it feels more like, what do you want from me? And the others, they're just like, oh, hi, who are you? So keep that in mind, because what do salespeople do, right? They go stop walking people. Like, people are walking, they stop, hey, do you want to? And they're trying to keep their attention. And it's just super needy and super weird in a sense. It's not natural. You want to create things that feel more natural. And you want to lean towards more natural instead of salesy or games or techniques or whatever, that just, because people notice manipulative behavior. Like, people are quite intelligent in the sense that they notice when they're being played with, or that there's someone selling you something. They notice, even just in the energy, they notice. So not playing games, just being social, is actually a very good way to socialize. And it would make sense, right, to socialize in this way. So banter is really a great way to open on the street. Another way is just having fun. And doesn't mean you need to have fun like in a club, because that's different. Because fun in a club is like dancing, you're out there, it's loud, people are drunk. Maybe you're talking really loudly because there's music playing or whatever. But on the street, it's more like, you know, people are chill, but we can still have fun in that chill setting. What is more like banter? What is more just being teasing with whatever is going on, and not per se teasing in like a sexual way or whatever. More like teasing in the sense of, you know, oh, you happen to go to Sarah, I didn't know they sold this or that, or just any conversational, observational opener. Especially observational openers that are funny. That's kind of the best banter to use when talking on the street. Best places to go, I would say, are probably like squares, because at squares people are standing still, they have time. If you go to a square, people are much more open to talk. When you're in a busy street, people are walking, and it's kind of, you can open people, but they have short attention span, because it's not a place to stand still, right? A red light is actually a good place to stand still in front of a road, but also the red light is going to go green again, and then people are going to walk again. So either you have to walk with them, but I wouldn't recommend it. I would recommend something more like a square where people are already standing still, and then it's much easier to open them. It's much easier to talk with them in that sense. And that also means just talk with everyone, not just a specific person. Just talk with everyone. Open everyone. That's really the biggest thing. So to wrap this all up, I have a lot more things to say, but it's just my own experience. You know, be loud. Like, be loud. Don't yell, but be loud, okay? Being loud will help you to come across more public and more impersonal than very personal and very private. You don't want to create a personal and private conversation. That might happen after comfort is built, but in the first few moments, it should be a bit more public, because that also makes them feel comfortable. You see, when it's more public, when you're talking loudly, they don't feel anything bad is gonna happen, because everyone notices you talking loudly. So it's safe for them, because they know that everyone can hear what they're saying, what you're saying. So it's safe. Safety is loud. So if you want to make people feel safe, be loud. Okay? And don't always go up to the people. Let people come to you as well. Tell them to come closer. Tell them to stand where you want them to stand. Tell them to even hold something. Like, if you have a difficulty getting people to stand somewhere where you want, just give them an object. Give them an object and make them go where you want to go. So give them, for example, what I do, I throw a coin, and then I tell them, you know, come stand right here and give me my coin back. So that's a good way, because now you really anchor the person that you're talking to, what means they're much more likely to listen for a longer time. When you're walking, there's no anchor, there's no standing still, so you're going places, and that's not really good. You want people to stand still, to anchor them, and then you also don't have to maintain their attention for a long time. You see, maintaining people's attention for a long time comes when they're not really anchored. When people are anchored, they're invested. They came to you. They came to stand here with you. You didn't try to get to them. You didn't try to talk to them. You projected your voice. You told them, hey, can you catch a coin? I throw the coin, they catch it, now bring it back. They bring it back. Now we can have a conversation, and I do a little trick. I give value. Maybe I make a joke a little bit, and now I'm bringing value. Now I'm having a conversation. Now things are actually going somewhere. And that is where you want it to be at. That is really being at your center, because you're literally being at your center. You're not moving. You're just standing there at a square, and you're just projecting your voice to people and get them to be closer to you. And then also don't over focus. Like, when they come close, doesn't mean you have to stop projecting your voice. Maybe tone it down a little bit, but still be loud. Like, still be loud, because that makes people feel comfortable. That makes people feel like you're not going to do something weird because you're being so public. If you're being very private, something weird could happen. You see, but when you're very public, meaning you're very loud, you're out there, you're also acknowledging other people, that builds a lot of comfort with people. So that's what I would say for socializing. Banter is really important. Being loud is really important. Getting people to stand where you want them to stand is really important. Not being such a... I see all these salespeople and stuff, and you're like rushing and rushing and rushing, and I'm like, if you're rushing, you're not enjoying the conversation. And I get that you sometimes need to rush a little bit because of the attention going away, but you don't have to rush so much. Like, just enjoy, bring value, and people want to stay. See, when you're entertaining people, they want to stay. But if you're not entertaining, then why would they want to stay, and why would you keep them hostage? You see, if you're not bringing any value, meaning you're not funny or you're not entertaining or not whatever, then what are you adding to the conversation? You're basically being a low value person. I'm not saying you're low value in the thing, but you're not bringing value to the conversation. You're not bringing value in this moment. Being valuable and being entertaining and enjoying yourself and having fun and having banter with people also throughout the conversation is what makes people want to stay. And rushing is what makes people want to leave. Walking is what makes people want to leave, because if you're walking and they're walking, you're both on a rush. You don't want people to be in a rush. You want people to relax, enjoy, show something great, do something great, bring some value to people. And it doesn't have to be magic as I do. I'm just a magician. You can bring value in other ways. Like, you can be really funny. Being funny and having a lot of banter is very valuable. Stories. If you tell stories, it's valuable, right? Let's say you talk to someone that's not from that city. Talk about the city. Talk about what the square is and the history of it. Bring value in some way where people are like, okay, there's a reason for me to stay here because it feels valuable, it feels interesting, and it feels great. That's what I would say about socializing. Socializing, the first few minutes is all a little bit of performance, okay? It's not all this authentic stuff and things. It really is a little bit of a performance. And later on, when you build connections deeper with people, then it can be less of a performance. But in the beginning, it will always be some form of performance. So perform well. Practice how you would talk to people. Practice how you would do it and test it out. Test out what works for you. Things work out for me differently than they work for you. I'm a magician. I'm not you. You got to see how you're going to bring value to people in different ways. So that's what I would say about socializing. And also, it shows you clearly what not to do. So what not to do, I will say this and then I will end the video. What not to do is to be quiet, is to be very aggressive or rushing or very in scarcity. You want to just enjoy yourself and just have people to enjoy your day with. You're having banter. Learn banter. Look up banter. Talk with ChatGPT about banter. Talk about ChatGPT about observational openers. And talk and what not to do is to go towards one person, like trying to find the perfect person to talk to. Whether that's for just basic socializing, even for sales, even for dating. Never, ever try to look at the person that you want to talk to. You want to just talk to everyone, and if something happens to be great, you're surprised, like, oh, this could lead somewhere beyond just this 5-minute conversation. And that will be just, okay, great. But you're not there trying to control or trying to get anything. You're there to bring value in a way that feels normal, in a way that feels natural, in a way that feels like you're not going to do anything to harm them, because that is why they're defensive and that's why people get rejected, is because they're opening in ways where people don't feel secure. If people don't feel secure, they're not going to open up to you and you're not going to have fun. So make people feel secure. Make people feel secure by not being a salesperson, by not being a taker, by not being some person that is going to convert them to Christianity or something. You want to be the opposite of all these people. You want to be the person that just happens to meet you just like you happen to meet someone in a pottery class. That's what I would say about socializing. I don't even know how long this video is. It probably is like 40 minutes or so. I covered a lot of stuff, but there's still so much more to cover around this topic. I don't want to call dating, I don't want to call it sales, no one can call it any of these things. I'm just talking about socializing. And when you become better at socializing, you'll become better at all the other things that you want to do, because socializing is a huge part of life. We live with other humans. If you cannot talk with other humans in a way that feels good for them and feels good for you, then life is going to be quite difficult. I'm an introverted person, and I kind of need to learn to be a bit more extroverted, because it's necessary in this world to socialize, talk with people for so many reasons. All right, that's all I want to say. I'm a little tired right now after shooting this video. I hope you enjoyed the work that I've done here. I have much more videos, so check them out as well. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.